So over here. Actually, now that I hear it, you say it, actually it's a bit labay, ternyata. Anyways, I was a bit worried just now that we're gonna do the presentation right away because I want to go to the restroom. I don't want to do the presentation while I'm like holding my legs like that. But so that's good. So anyways, as I was being introduced, I was actually a Manchester United fan before they were cool. So if you see that picture over there. So, if you're born if you started following football in the mid-90s, you're either probably a United or a Liverpool fan. And I chose United for a very simple reason, which I will tell you later. But if you're like in the late 90s, you're Arsenal, and you're like now, you're like City, Tottenham, whatever. But again, like I said, I was a United fan before they were cool. This was Old Trafford in 1997, before they did the whole remodeling. And if you see the shirt, that's the United third jersey. They were still sponsored by Sharp back then. So the title of my presentation today is actually From Zero to Lima, something that I came out in an impromptu when I was talking with Christine. It's basically about finding your life's calling, and if you see from the picture here, this is me when I was working in Japan with one of the greatest football youth development guru, Mr. Tom Bayer, on the right side. This is me now doing my badminton event. This is with Mr. Ahop, who is a big supporter of Lima. This was when I graduated from my master's degree in sports management. This is my guru, my sports economics guru, Mr. Dan Rasher. And actually over that side, who's a United fan here? Can you tell me who he is? All right, okay, I'll let you slide. That's Renee Molenstein. Actually, that's the assistant manager of Sir Alex Ferguson. He actually was very kind to give me 2 hours of his time to really chat about youth development when I was catching up with him in Seattle. So anyways, from zero to Lima. Lima is my company now, Liga Mahasiswa. And I really literally start from zero. So, I have the remote, never mind. Let me start off with this, actually. Nelson Mandela's quote. Sport has the power to change the world. It has the power to inspire. It has the power to unite people in a way that little else does. It speaks to youth in a language they understand. Sports can create hope where there once only despair. It is more powerful than the government in breaking down racial barriers. So the first two is a bit of a fun slide. I'm a bit of more of a serious slide maybe from this. But no, actually there's some fun coming in. So growing up, as a typical Chinese Indonesian, I read mangas. Dragon Ball was my manga. I played a lot of sports. I am a video game addict. Super Famicom. I'm sure none of you know what this is. Oh, you know. All right, there you go. And anybody know what this is? No, this is an arcade game. It's called Bishibashi. All right, Bishibashi. So, fun fact, all right? I have never been defeated in a best-of-3 game in Bishibashi ever in my life. So there was one time actually when I was invited to my old high school, they were doing a bazaar, and one of it is actually having a Bishibashi game. So they invited me to be the final boss. So you pay 5,000 rupiah. If you can beat me, you get 400,000. At the end of the day, I pocket 400,000. There was one time actually, I was so beating everybody else so bad that they asked me to like, you know what, Ryan, can you like let go some games? Like, okay, can you like give a advantage? So what I did, one of the games, which was the tune. You sort of have to follow the tune, right? You have to press the button when the tune sort of comes out. I played from behind the screen. I didn't even see the TV, and I still won. So it's like, so that's how much of an addict I was, in playing games. I was the Tekken 2 champion in North Jakarta and whatever. Anyways, as I said, and I was a United fan. I was a big United fan, and before they were cool. Ryan Giggs, as I said, simple reasons, simple times. My friend who started to introduce me to football, his name is Eric, and I'm Ryan. And during that time, the striker was Eric Cantona, and I'm Ryan Giggs. So very simple. Hey, so I picked my club. But I've always been an athlete, actually, when I was young. I don't look like an athlete now, I know. I'm a FIFA, PlayStation athlete now. But back then, actually, I was playing badminton. I was my school champion. I was playing basketball. I was in the regular team. I was playing football. I was the captain of my team. And I actually went to, that story went on further, actually. Football really brought me places. But, sports really is interesting because it knows no boundaries, and it really allows me to experience Indonesia as a whole. We see now things in Indonesia, we see what's happening with Ahok, for example, in terms of how he's being discriminated just because of his triple minority status. He's Chinese, he's a Christian, he's not from Java. I've experienced that for a very long time, actually, but through sports, before the May '98 incident happened, through sports, I feel that I belong. I feel that I'm actually included as part of Indonesia, because at the end of the day, when you play sport, you follow the certain rules. When it's football, it's 11 on 11. You have 4-4-2 formation. You're playing striker. As long as you can score, I want you to be in my team. And this is exactly what happened. I used to be good. Remember, I used to be good. And they always pick me. They don't care. I have a chinky eye. They don't have a funny accent or like a pale skin or whatever. As long as you can cross the ball, do some moves, and kick it in, score a goal, then you're good. And yeah, so again, like I said, that's why it allows me to experience Indonesia with a full spectrum of Indonesia. And then May '98 happened. So I was forced to move out of Indonesia because of the unrest. It was actually a tragedy. This is actually something very personal to our family. We were separated when the incident happened. We were in different town, me and my family. I was doing my Eptanas. And then my mom was at home. We were so scared, and we ended up going to the airport together. Sorry, not together, but differently. But we meet at the airport at like 4 a.m. in the morning, when we were hoping that it will die down, because we're just running for our lives. And when we reached the airport, it was like a public market. It was like so crowded. Everyone was just trying to run out of town. So our life was in shambles. Everything that we had in plan it had to change. We leave friends, we leave families behind. And I ended up leaving overseas for the first time, So, you see the pictures here, it was nothing compared to what's happening right now. It was really, I'm sure a lot of people here are born maybe in the late 80s or early 90s. You didn't really get through to experience. You don't maybe remember what happened, but, actually some of my friends got raped because of the incident, because they're Chinese Indonesian. A lot of my family's friends, offices or houses got looted, burned down, just because they're Chinese Indonesian. And the rhetoric that is being played nowadays, just because of your racial and religious background, is really starting to become a bit dangerous, because we're coming back to whatever is being built upon the '98 foundation. It's because of politics. It's being pulled back again and again, and that's why we have to speak out. So anyways, that's more on the serious part. And then I ended up moving to Singapore, and back to my original topic, sports helped me actually to come in, to be included in part of a society there. I didn't know anybody in Singapore, but because I was good enough to play, they come for me. And I ended up playing in one of the S-League team. It was the Clementi Tigers youth team. But then an incident happened not too long after that. I got a tackle from the back, and it broke my ankle, and my left foot is now slightly shorter than my right foot. And if I kick too hard now, I kind of feel it. So I didn't really pursue my career as an athlete. And anyways, I also came to a realization that there's a cap for me when I started playing with the Brazilians and the Argentinians. You know what? Maybe I'm not that good in the world level, obviously. So anyways, I was forced out of sports and focused elsewhere, but I've always been a sports enthusiast. So, college years. I went to community college first in America. I went to Diablo Valley College before I transferred to the UC Irvine, University of California in Irvine. They actually have a pretty good, this is actually the campus. They base it off Middle Earth. Apparently, they're a big Lord of the Rings fan. So they're so geeky, actually, in a way that they voted one time that, do you want to have a NCAA football stadium or science library? They voted science library. I'm like, oh my God. Anyways, so I took computer science as my major. And I had the wrong impression of computer science because I was playing computer games and I automatically assume it's the same thing. Oh, damn. I'm in for something big. So I ended up taking computer science because, and it's also one of the options that obviously my parents recommended because it's a safe job, it's a safe choice, safe career, something that the parents can understand, right? Computer science or business. I took business as well, actually, as a minor. So funny story, the conversation that you have when you get out of computer science class compared to the conversation you have when you get out of business class is so different. Like computer science, you're done. Hey, have you started coding this problem? You know, I've been trying to get this efficiency level to this log of n, right? Those are the conversations. In business class, it's like, that guy is so checking me out. You know, it's like okay. So I lived on two extremes in a way, but I got to work in several cool projects. Actually, one of them including Amazon. I was a project lead for a team that actually has a system implemented for Amazon. You know, some of my friends, maybe gamers here, do you know that actually Blizzard's office, Blizzard is the one that make Warcraft and Starcraft. The office is actually in my campus. So a lot of patches release is actually from the senior project of the computer science class in my school. So we got a lot of cool projects. And last quarter though, I kind of screwed up. I handled more than I could. By the time I graduate, I have no idea where to go. But the thing is, I'm a hard worker, and I like hands-on experience. So by the time I graduate, I have 3 internships in my hand. And the thing is, when I took the business, so I just want to give you a bit of an idea how I was raised up. When I took business and computer, you know, sometimes if it's like chemical engineering and electrical engineering, you can take some of the classes that is the same classes, right? So you don't have to take more classes to finish your degree. So for computer and business, it's completely different. So it ends up taking me more time. But you know, my mom made a promise to me like, Ryan, I'm going to fund you for your college for 4 years. And that's it, right? And after that, you're independent, you're on your own. So because of the business minor, I ended up taking an extra quarter. And obviously I was like, okay, who's going to pay for this? So I came up to my mom and I was like, hey, so I'm kind of need to take another extra quarter. And she said, you know, Ryan, I'm sure you're smart enough to figure it on your own. So that's just how my parents raised me up. You know, they believe in giving me, they don't want to give me the fish, they want to give me the fishing rod. So obviously I took a loan. So that is something very uncommon, by the way, for Indonesians, to be like that, to be raised up in that sense. Oops. So those are my college years. And then after that, I work in bank, consulting job, which was a fraud, by the way. The company was a bogus company. And then I ended up working in biotech. But when I started off, you know, I was dead broke. You know, I rented a living room, which I have to share with my friend. And I was living on a makeshift bed, or a tikar, you know, over here in Indonesia. And I could only afford $100 a month. And that's all I eat. I eat McDonald's every day because I just don't have the cash. I was a fresh graduate with loans and all that, and my family has decided, oh, it's time to fly on your own. Go for it. All right. So, anyways, that was a phase in my life, and then I was blessed enough to be able to work in a biotech company. I worked there for 2 years-ish with yearly promotions, and it's a very good paying job. It's a very stable job. As a matter of fact, the company that I work with is 150 people. In 1 quarter, their revenue is $150 million, which is not bad at all. You know, so it's a very good, stable job. But I was still involved in sports in many ways. You know, whether it be in office, in church, whatever it is. But then I came to a moment of epiphany. This is an SAT word. Epiphany. I came to a realization that, you know what? I woke up one day in the morning that, you know, I got everything I need by this time. You know, I was a fresh graduate, but with a very good job, with a good career path and everything. But I was like, I feel something's missing. I feel this is not for me. I don't want to do this the rest of my life. Because what I do in the biotech job, I come to the office every day, 8:30. I will sit in front of a computer with 3 screens monitoring whatever's happening around the world, whatever's happening with the clinical trial, whatever's happening with this medicine, that medicine, whether it be, I need to resupply, I need to check on this by a statistician. It's boring. It's boring. So I started looking into sports career as to follow my passion. So I took the leap of faith. This is my entrepreneur years. I left the job. I left my job in biotech, and I end up in sports management. And I also started my business in sports, and it ends up being the worst economy time in America when I started my business. So we were burning cash in the first 3 months when we opened up. It was just nobody's buying anything. So it was so hard for us. And then, you know what? We had no money to spare. I have to work everything ourselves because we don't have the capital anymore to run. So I was the janitor as well. I was a cleaning service. I have to clean up everything because we just don't have enough capital. And we were like stuck in that situation for a while. But things started to get better. I had one incident, my car was bumped. I have no money to repair it. And I had to refuse like going out to friends because I'm kind of ashamed about it, But I went on to it. I keep working, and this is actually the story for Futsal Venue. I opened a sports facility. So, and then this quote got to me: "The struggle that you are in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow." And that is exactly what I went through. Everything I've told you still now, it's like, oh my God, it's going down, down, down. And, this is actually a quote, a very good quote. "Those who worked hard may not always succeed, but those who succeed always works hard." This is a motto that I have for me and everything that I do. And then I came to a moment of honesty. I asked myself, you know what, Ryan? Your parents doesn't really agree for you to go into sports. It's something they don't understand. And, they don't see where this is going. They don't see this is going to make a living for you. And then you started asking this question for yourself. Why do you want to do what you do? Why do you want to do sports? Keep asking, be honest with yourself. Cut off everything that everyone else is saying. Just look into yourself and what do you want to do? This is my answer. My measure of success is not my net worth, but my measure of success is my net impact. And through sports, I have shown through time and time again that I've been able to do what I could not do in every other field. I could be good in everything else, but I could be great in doing this. So the building process went on. It was a test of will and resolve. And I got lucky, blessed, whatever you call it. I got a gig at a company called IMG. So that's the equivalent of working with Google in technology. So this is the top company. I really want the job so bad that during the job interview process, I already know who's going to interview me. I already have 2 people interviewing me, and I know who they are. I know what their projects are on. And when they interview me, like, oh, what do you know about IMG? I told them the history from the beginning till the end. And then they was like, oh, if there's this case, what would you do? Oh, this is what I would do. And by the way, I took out a piece of paper. I saw what you did in the last project. I already printed out. This is what I would do differently. I was like, oh, my goodness. And they basically said to me, out of 80 people that applied for that job, I was the 4th. And they say to each other, you know what? After your interview, we thought that it would be a waste of time. The rest of the 76 would be a waste of time because we know we want you. So, but anyways, I got a job, and that allows me to work with several international brands, such as the NBA, the FIFA, MLS, NCAA, LPGA, and so on and so forth. But I didn't get a visa extension because America at that time was a bit tightening on the immigration for the work permit. So I only have 1 year, didn't get extension. But I got an opportunity to work with T3, which is Mr. Tom Bayer here, standing next to Zinedine Zidane. And he's the youth development guru. And it all started with a New York Post article. And I started contacting him in LinkedIn because he was credited as the guy who changed the whole face of youth development in Japan. So I messaged him in LinkedIn, and he replied. I basically asked him, like, hey, I wish we could do the same thing for Indonesia. I wonder if there's anything you can give me for like a tips. And he started responding, and we started Skyping, and he started calling. I started meeting with his friends in America, who happens to be people in high places. One of them is actually the CEO of Adidas America, and invited me to his place, sort of meet up with him, and ends up like an informal interview. That was actually a job interview, because he wants to have his friends sort of vouch for me. Can he do the job? And he offered me a position. He was like, would you be a director in my company? And then we just started that, and then he asked basically, you know what, I'm interested to expand to Indonesia. Actually, I'm interested to move to Indonesia. And I met with a lot of the big guns in Indonesia. We talk about, the Jarum Group, we talk about the Garuda Group, the big names, the Bakri Group, the Arif Panigoro Group. But people were sort of, it was met with frustration because the unstable politics in Indonesia makes people don't want to invest for a long term. So again, even if after this up and down, if after all the downs, I get slide up and then down again, up and down again. I'm like, oh my God, what do you want? So, but this is the molding process. This is exactly what I need. It's what I need to get to experience, to perform in the highest level. And this is where the big break comes. One of my favorite book is the book of Proverbs, and I keep reading it. And this is one of my favorite verses, which is, it says, for though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when the calamity strikes. What I learned, up and down every time. But I keep being politely persistent and sincere. And that's the thing about being a life of an entrepreneur. There's a lot of uncertainties. And I took the leap of faith when I changed my career from a very stable job to do sports. And I started with 0 rupiah. Honestly, I was dead broke when I came back to Indonesia afterwards. And then I finally got my big break. One of the investors that I met was Mr. Erick Thohir. And he is now the owner of Inter Milan, DC United, and he used to own 76ers. He offered me to take over what is called Liga Mahasiswa in the past. This is only a basketball college league. And with my knowledge, with my experience, I changed it to something different. I changed it to a full-blown NCAA model, Liga Mahasiswa, which is multi-sport, and it goes beyond and beyond. This is Lima now. We are coming to our 3rd year. And we have basketball, we have futsal, we have badminton, we have swimming, we have golf. We're gonna have volleyball soon. We're gonna have rugby. We're gonna have track and field. We are now the biggest university sports league in Indonesia in less than 3 years. If I can just play a video really quickly. This is gonna be like a quick 20-second video. Okay, yeah, start from this one. This is the futsal league. Yeah. So this is in Hall Asnayan. This is the final last year in Jakarta between UBL and UNJ. Binus was dead bottom. Not even in the nationals, in the conference games. Okay. So yeah, next one. This next, I would put it in playlist. Yeah. So this is basketball on February. This is in Surabaya. This is all live on TV, by the way. This is between UPH versus ITHB Bandung. So those are fans coming all the way from Bandung and Jakarta to Surabaya. Next. This is in badminton in the first season. This is from my camera, so it's a bit like that. But this is also live. This is between UPI and UPH. Next one. We also have swimming. I think Binus didn't do so bad here, I think. But badminton, you guys are again that bottom. We tried to do something cool initially, we thought we could, which is underwater camera, but apparently pools in Jakarta are so dirty that the visibility is only like 2 lanes. They're like, forget it. Okay, next one. And then we also have Lima Golf. So Lima Golf, in the first season, before we started, there's only 2 universities with golf clubs. After we started, there's 11. On the second year, there's 14. And the number keeps on growing. This is in Imperial Golf Club in Karawaci. So back to the presentation. Next slide. Oh, my call. So in 2 years, we have achieved something that I didn't even expect. Number one, we got an appreciation letter. We got an award from the Minister of Education. This is out of the blue. He sent me a letter out of the blue. It came to me from Professor Muhammad Nuh, basically saying, thank you for your contribution and actually changing impacting the lives of university students all over Indonesia. And number two, this is even more we didn't expect it at all. 2014 Indonesian Marketing Association and Marketeer of the Year in 3 categories: youth, women, and net citizens. We beat the likes of Unilever, we beat the likes of Samsung, we beat the likes of Indofood, and everything, all the big brands, we took the first prize. So this is, thank you. This is something that is, I just want to show all of you here that if you follow through what I was experiencing, what I was presenting just now, I had a lot of downs. Actually, more downs than ups, really. But one thing I learned, and also Lima story. In less than 2 years, it's less than 3 years, we are a $1 million company already. $1 million US company in less than 3 years, employing 25 people. Our media value is above 10 billion rupiah. We're only the 2nd local sports content to have the rights bought by a TV station, and our sponsor includes, you can see all this. This just came in last week and paid us the biggest sum of money ever. Yeah, so we are, in terms of revenue, maybe we're number 2 or 3 in Indonesia in 3 years, in less than 3 years. So, future, I don't know. And that is exactly what I said, this is the life of an entrepreneur. There's uncertainties, there's up and downs. Again, more downs than up usually. But one thing I learned is, well, 2 things I want to leave you guys with. I've always believed in the pursuit of excellence. And definition of excellence is being, you don't always I always want to challenge myself to perform the best. Whatever the result is, I don't know. But I will pursue excellence. I set a high standard for myself that nobody else can define for me. I want to give the best. Number 2 is be politely persistent, because that will lead to endurance, that will lead to perseverance. And sometimes when things happen, you feel like giving up. You feel like, oh my God, maybe this is not for me. I could have said that when I was cleaning the toilets. I could have said that when I was cleaning, sometimes when people poo and they don't flush well, I gotta clean that. I gotta wipe the floor for 2 hours every day, cleaning up the futsal floors. I mean, I love sports, but doing that every day, it questions you. Do you really want to do this? But that's a thing. Maybe that's a test for you. If you really believe this is your calling, and you may not know now. If you believe this is your passion, this is what you want to do for the rest of your life, you may not know now. I found it out when I was 26. So don't give up, persevere, and pursue excellence. That's all.